So here we are with the 511 All Hazards backpack. This has got some really neat features. Really excited to get this out in the field. First and foremost is this awesome rifle scabbard that attaches. It's a quick attach and disconnect system here with just a standard clip. So you can hit it from those sides and fold the whole thing over. Clip it back on just as easily, and then it's actually got two Velcro straps here to kind of keep any optics that you have on your rifle from getting damaged. Holds it in there very well. Adjustable barrel retention system here, so if you've got a longer or shorter rifle, you're able to kind of shrink it up and fit it however you need to. So let's pull that off to the side. Really neat thing about this backpack is that there's just really limitless options with it. You've got MOLLE webbing throughout the entire thing, so you're able to attach all sorts of good stuff, which I'll get into in a second. But one of the unique features about this guy is that you've got this pocket here which opens up fully to stick really whatever you'd like. I mean, this flap opens up. I've seen a lot of SWAT guys put a helmet in here. You know, you're able to fit really a smaller sleeping bag than this, or really cram anything that doesn't fit elsewhere in your bag, or if you just think of something as an afterthought and need to throw it in real quickly, it's very easy to do that. So let's hook that back up. I'm going to throw the rifle back over the top, connect it to the side. Again, very easy connect and disconnect system. Tipping the bag up on its side, it's got a couple of strap holes down at the bottom here so you can attach your sleeping bag. I've got a 30-degree rated sleeping bag here. Probably don't need quite that cold here in Southern California, especially in the springtime, but you know, figured I'd go with it just in case. Again, MOLLE webbing throughout the entire thing. Very nice thick backpack straps here. You know, I put this on, this is running about 60 pounds or so with all my gear, and it's not incredibly uncomfortable to carry. Attached to the MOLLE webbing on this side, I've got a little you know, hatchet here that's got a blade on one side. It's got a ratchet or a wrench opening, so you can open fire hydrants if you need to do that. Kind of a spike side on one, so you know, great for chopping wood or really, you know, kind of using it as a makeshift machete. Over on this side, on the actual straps, again, you've got the MOLLE webbing. I've got a little flashlight attached here. This is the Bear Grylls Ultimate Survival Knife by Gerber. You know, I'm not a huge fan of the color of it, but really cool knife for the money. Not incredibly expensive, and it's got some great features on it, which we'll get into in a second. This, of course, has a hydration pouch, so I just stuck my standard hydration pouch in there, ran it through this loop here for easy access. And then over on this side, I've got standard medic kit. So, you know, Band-Aids, gauze, you know, small trauma kit, stuff like that, Advil. So anyway, got all that stuff kind of packed in here. A couple other things, I've got a 1022. This is a standard Ruger 1022 with a decent scope on it. And then a couple of 550 cord bracelets just kind of clipped on here. You know, this is a real good setup. I'm excited to get out in the field and see how this thing holds up. We'll dive into the inside and kind of take a look at what we got there for you as well. This rifle scabbard on the top here holds my Ruger 1022. I've got the tri-mag on there so I can hold 30 rounds, you know, without a banana mag hanging out, which of course we don't have here in California because it sucks. But you know, holding 30 rounds for this so I can hunt or forage for food is great. Also defense if you need it. Hit the quick disconnect there and fold this guy over. Now on the inside of the bag, this is kind of the area I've designated for toiletries and you know, small tools. So I've got just a clean white rag here. Got a map of Southern California, so if you're, you know, trying to meet up with somebody, rendezvous or anything like that, you can do that. Got my Nightcore P25 860 Lumen flashlight. Very durable, very good size, fairly lightweight. Also a charger for it, USB, so if you have any solar powered or hand crank material to you know, recharge your stuff, it's good to go. Baby wipes. huge. You can get these at Costco for extraordinarily cheap. Fast bath, clean your hands before preparing a meal. You know, just really, really good to have. Great to keep around. Got a couple of glow sticks here, just your average run-of-the-mill glow sticks. Maybe light up a campfire signal at night. And as far as fire starting equipment, I've got Strike Anywhere waterproof matches, Vaseline soaked cotton balls. These things work extraordinarily well. If you haven't tried it before, I suggest you do before you actually get out in the field. But great to have. Throw in a Ziploc bag and they hold tight pretty well. I've also got a small magnesium stick with a carabiner here. And then probably the easiest way to go about lighting a fire is just a standard lighter. Now, as far as lighting goes, hand crank flashlight here. So you just give this a few winds and you get light for a little while. Great if you run out of batteries or if you're out in the field for an extraordinarily long period of time. And then I showed you on the outside of the bag the LD20 made by Phoenix, which is a little handheld flashlight. There's a variety of accessories for this. There's a little headlamp mount. You know, there's a little cone here, all tucked inside the Ziploc bag, so you can turn it into more of a lantern than a projected light. So a bunch of little goodies there I just threw into a Ziploc bag. Small Benchmade knife, or Benchmark knife. You know, great for cutting little things if you don't want to break out a larger blade. And then personal hygiene toiletries. I've got a little bottle of hand sanitizer. Got some Q-tips, great for cleaning a gun or, you know, smaller things. Deodorant. Got a emergency blanket, also works very well as a you know, kind of a glare source or reflecting light. You know, works as a poncho as well. Here I've got the Gerber suspension multi-tool. This is a really neat multi-tool. I've you know, experimented with Leathermans and Gerbers and stuff, and I really like this one for the simple fact that it's spring-loaded. So when you're trying to work with one hand and trying to open this up by pushing your pinky out or something like that, it's kind of a pain in the butt. With a standard one, because this is spring-loaded, it just, you know, opens right up for you. And it's got all the standard tools. You know, you've got your saw, your you know, small screwdrivers, both flat and Phillips, small blades, and everything locks into place too, so you don't end up cutting your own fingers by you know, hitting it the wrong way. And if you just pull these two little levers here, thing closes back up. We'll get into more detail on this when we get out in the field. Pack of gum and then a pack of playing cards. You know, if you're out and about camping in the wilderness, got to keep sane, and you know, you can always bet your friends money or food if you're out there, so it's always fun to have. A couple of extra Ziploc bags in case you find anything that you want to store for later, and then toothbrush, toothpaste. So that about does it for the toiletries and small tools side of the pack. Let's go to the second section here where we can open up and take a look at some of the other goodies we got packed away. So if we fold this back, this is one really neat thing about this All Hazards Prime backpack. It's got bright orange inserts to it, so if you're trying to track down help or something like that, or you know, even if you just want to hang this on a tree and let it stay open so you can help find your way back to your camp a little bit easier, that's great to do. But again, you know, phenomenal for signaling, or if you're in low light conditions and you're trying to dig through and find something, having this you know, very bright background makes it a lot easier. Also, these individual packs rip off here with Velcro, so if you want to toss something to a friend or companion, perhaps it's magazines, perhaps it's food, medical kit, whatever you need, you have quick, easy access to it. You can rip it off and throw it to them. In this particular one, I've kind of stored my food items in this package. So in here, got a couple of instant oatmeals, got a couple of meal replacement bars, and then some trail mix. Very easy. Just add a little bit of water to the oatmeal and you're good to go. Everything else can be eaten as is. Next pocket, we've got here some freeze-dried food that came out of a larger container. So this is what's this one? Chicken Alfredo. So just add a little bit of water. This is about 4 servings worth, so that should get you through a couple of days. Also, water filtration. This is a great little piece here. You know, just basically put this straw in, runs charcoal all through here, and you can pull out pond water or stream water or anything like that, and it should get through all impurities. I would suggest boiling it as well, just for that extra peace of mind. A couple of containers of freeze-dried food here. These are just Mountain House. You can get these pretty much anywhere. Small Motorola walkie-talkie, good for about 6 miles. So if you're trying to connect with somebody else or just stay in touch with someone that's in your group, really good to have. Here's our Gerber foldable saw. Locks in place with this little locking mechanism here. So again, you don't close it on your hand. And integrated in there is a another blade. And of course, we've got a tube tent. These are very run-of-the-mill. You can pick these up pretty much anywhere. Just basically keeps the rain off you. You know, if you want to string it between a couple of trees, something like that. It's got the rope for it and everything. Very bright. So again, if you're trying to signal for help, you've got that. So that does it for our food container. Now we're going to open up the next side of it. Come back here. This is where we've got extra clothing. So I've got a light jacket. We've got a couple pairs of pair of underwear, a couple pairs of socks. We've got some gloves. You know, want to keep your hands protected if you're, you know, messing with blades at all. You know, a small cut could get infected and turn into something a lot worse. So it's important to keep your hands protected. Even when you're handling wood, getting a splinter, you know, straight up your fingernail would really suck. So it's important that you keep gloves on and keep your injuries to a minimum. A couple extra shirts, pair of pants, you know, some kind of warm weather. And I suggest if you're in an area outside of, you know, Southern California, maybe somewhere where you get a little bit more in the climate change, you know, maybe have a bailout bag for the winter and one for the summer months. Just because with temperatures, you know, drastically changing, obviously your summer pack isn't going to work for your winter. But out here in Southern California, we don't have a tremendous you know, difference in temperature from the winter to the summer months, so you know, probably okay with a couple pairs of pants, a couple shirts, and a light jacket. And then here we've got a small mess kit. Comes in a little compression sack here, but open this up, you've got a pot, you've got a pan, it's got a bowl, it's got a cup, and then also a little handle that actually clips right onto the side. On either of these pieces, but it shrinks up real nice, doesn't take up a lot of room. You know, great for boiling that water we talked about, you know, preparing a meal if you know, are fortunate enough to catch or shoot a rabbit, you know, making some stew out of it. So very good piece to have there. Small head flashlight. This is just a little cheapy Energizer one, takes a single AA battery. I'd much rather use the LD20 that I got on the outside of the pack, but you know, in a pinch or for something smaller, this would do. And then finally, on the top of the bag here, ear protection and a pair of sunglasses. Great to have, protect your eyes, keep you from getting headaches if you're out and about. So that's pretty much the contents of my bag. Again, there are some cool things clipped on the outside. You got the little hatchet here, got a first aid kit on this side, you know, flashlight on the front, and a you know, bladder in the front, so you've got some water on you at all times. But that's pretty much the pack. Again, 30-degree sleeping bag, so should be pretty comfortable out here in the next couple of days.
So I'm here with the Maxpedition Vulture 2. This is their 72-hour pack. This one I've attached my sleep cell sleeping bag. I grabbed a couple of compression straps just to strap that to the two little things of webbing here on the bottom. This pack has 2,810 cubic inches of storage space, so it'll hold a lot of stuff. It's got 3 main compartments here, and as well it's also got a rear compartment in the back which will store a 100-ounce hydration pouch, which I have attached in there. So on this side of the Vulture 2, I have my hatchet here, And then secured to that, I have a little pouch with an FRS radio in there. On this side of it, I've got a Cobra CB radio. So I won't be out of communication with anybody in my group, and I should be able to get in touch with anybody in case of an emergency. And then in the back here, this has a little pouch here, so where you can store a 100-ounce hydration bladder, as well as if you don't have a hydration bladder or you want to store a water bottle or a canteen on the side of the bag, there's also some extra storage where you can store something flat in there, maybe a map, as well as there's some Velcro attached, so where you can use one of Maxpedition's little concealed carry holster and put that in there, as well as some magazines for your handgun. And then another great feature about this bag is that it has a waist strap here, which is just tremendous. It really helps. It's got PALS webbing on it. Right here I just have it attached a little flashlight to it, but this really helps distribute the weight load and takes a lot of it off your shoulders. So on the straps here, I have my Gerber Lm F2 knife and the bite valve for my hydration pack. And this thing probably weighs, I'd say, about 50 to 60 pounds. Has the grab handle on top, very sturdy. This thing's very, very well put together. You know, with all the gear in here, I have no doubt that this thing's gonna hold up and won't fall apart at all. So we're gonna go ahead and dive into the Vulture 2. First thing here is take off this little Y retention strap here, or Y compression strap. Open up this front pouch. I'm a little more unorganized than the other guys here, but first order of business is eating. So I got this thing packed full of a bunch of Cliff Bars. Just great they taste great protein, lots of energy. Let's get those out of the way. And then probably the next most important thing is going to be safety. So we have just a little trauma kit here, just in case there's any snake bites or get cut. This will take care of that. And we have a few little USB cords. We'll get into those a little bit later. Right here we have a little coffee filter, or a few coffee filters, just to, if you're going to be filtering out some water, so kind of get some of the sediment out and kind of purify it a little bit before you get it into your water filter's filter. And this right here is the Surefire St. Minimus. It's a headlamp. It's got an adjustable light on it, so you can turn it from as dim as you want it to, you know, the brightest setting. It's great. And we have Garmin Nuvi GPS, so you can, if you're out hiking and you don't know where you are, this will, you know, definitely, as long as this has power, this will be able to tell you where you are. A couple more Cliff Bars. And I have a stash of CR123 batteries. All the lights and equipment I have in here use CR123 versus, you know, AA and AAA. I just wanted to keep everything simple and have it on one battery type. Let's see here. Also have a Nightcore TM26 flashlight. We'll get into this a little bit later in depth. But this here is a 3500 lumen flashlight, but it starts at 3 lumens. It has 5 adjustable settings, but it's a great flashlight. This thing's, it's waterproof. It can go up to, I believe it's 2 meters. You can submerge it, and it's a great flashlight. All right, also here for signaling people, I have an air horn. That's great. Then for purposes of starting fire, I've got lint from, I just grabbed this out of the dryer at home, shoved in a little Ziploc bag. This is great for starting fires. It's a great little tinder there. And then another great thing is, when used in conjunction with a 9-volt battery, is going to be steel wool. This will start as soon as you touch both prongs to the steel wool. It's going to start a fire. It's a great way to start one. Let's see, a few other things here. I have some Ballistol wipes. This is just for cleaning any firearms I'm taking. Great stuff. And then I have my Gerber Etool. This Just a little shovel, folds out. This here can be used as a hammer. You can pull the handle out, goes out a little bit further, but you can use this as a hammer. You can hammer some tent stakes down, or just beat on whatever you like, and you can use it as a shovel. So got a can opener, it's got a corkscrew and a little knife right here. Have some waterproof matches along with a P38 can opener. This thing's a great little tool to have in case you don't have any other kind of can opener around. And I have my little titanium spoon and fork. It's got a little knife edge here too. This is my little utensil to eat with. Got my toothbrush right here. Got my toothpaste. Hygiene's important. And then I have a lens-sighted compass, so I can figure out where I'm going and what direction I need to go. It's a very important tool to have. I also have a little saw blade and some flint. Great for another great way of starting a fire here. And last thing in this little admin pouch here is going to be just some rim oil. So for cleaning any firearms that I'm bringing with me. Okay, let's go ahead into this little front pouch here. This is kind of just for some quick, accessible stuff that you need to get into. I have a map, so I always know where I'm going. This is just a map of Southern California. You know, I'll be able to navigate wherever I need to go. I have some hand warmers. So on a cold morning, I start one of these guys up, put them in my pocket, keep my hands warm. I have a little chargeable little hand radio that winds up. It's got solar power here. It's also got a little flashlight, and it's AM and FM. And I believe it's also got the weather band here, so you can know if there's any bad weather coming up. All right, also have some germicidal tablets here for pure water purification. Kill any germs in there. Have some gloves. And I also have my little Gerber suspension multi-tool. This is a great tool to have. It's pretty much got a little saw blade on it. Great pair of pliers. Love it. And last thing in here, I have some fire starter sticks. These things they light real easily. Just a great way if you just need to start a fire real quick. Light these guys up and they'll burn for a little while until you get your some sticks or whatever you need to get the fire going. Okay, then going to the main pouch. Take off these compression straps here. All right, this thing opens up pretty much all the way to the bottom, so you can just kind of pack it neatly if you want, or if you're like me, you can throw whatever you got in there. In here I got another pair of socks, set of playing cards. Also very important, this is just some Body Glide. It's an anti-chafing little material, so if you're walking for 2 or 3 or 4 days longer, this can really save you some pain. And also I have some Skippy Rolls. It's just a shirt rolled up with some underwear and some socks and taped up. It's just a change of clothes. It's a good way to save space. I also here have this is a Sea to Summit little coffee mug. This is for just making coffee in the morning, keeping it warm. It's a good little thermos. Next thing we have in here is a BioLite camp stove. This is a great little stove. Actually, it's the cool thing about it is it has this little device that hooks onto the side. It has a built-in fan, so it will circulate air running through here to keep the fire keep the fire roaring as long as you have enough material in there to burn. So what you do with this here is you put this device right in here on the side. To unfold these legs, what it does is locks this in place. And you put your anything you can burn in here, some dry twigs or some dry tree bark. Get that in here is just your fuel. And once the fire's lit, turn this on, and there's a low setting here. It's going to circulate the air and keep that fire stoked. And then a little added benefit of this is there's a little USB plug right here. So once the fire is roaring, it'll actually charge any kind of USB device that you have. So a smartphone, your GPS, you know, and in my case here I have this little Suunto X10 watch, which acts as a GPS as well. Just attaches right here. I can just plug that guy in and then have this thing charged. You know, the charge out of this thing is probably not going to be terribly impressive, but it will be enough to you know, get your smartphone or any kind of phone you have charged up to where you can, you know, turn it on and get a hold of anybody in case of an emergency if your battery's dead. And then on top of that, it's got a you know, pretty strong top here where you can set a frying pan on top, and you can cook your food. So really neat little invention there from BioLite. This is just a little fold up frying pan. I have another pair of gloves, and I have a Katadyn pocket water filter. This one here is good for, it's estimated at 17,000 gallons it'll treat with the same filter. And then also you can just go ahead and buy a new filter for this one when, you know, whenever it goes bad. And I have a knee brace. I have knee problems, so this is a great thing just to carry an extra one in there if I'm going to be doing a long, you know, if I have a long hike ahead of me. This is definitely going to help me out. Got some rope. And then inside here I have some toiletries. So I got some, you know, if you don't have a river or anything you can go take a shower or bath in, you know, just have some antibacterial wipes here and here. It's a great little way to take a shower on the go. I have an emergency blanket in case I get terribly cold. It's probably not going to happen here in Southern California. And then I got some Starbucks instant coffee, so that's definitely going to help me out. And then I have some Camper's toilet paper. It's just basically doesn't have the middle roll in it, and so it kind of saves some space on that. Definitely an important thing to have on the when you're on the road. And then lastly, I have in here is just a multi-mat here it's called the Trekker. It's just a self-inflating mat for you to sleep on. So I'm going to be setting this up and then putting my my sleeping bag on top of that, and should be a little bit more comfortable than these other guys. The last part of this pack here is the hydration pouch. So you can fit a 100-ounce bladder of water. This here is just a little Camelback hydration pouch. And then on top of that, I have a poncho. So it'll, you know, if it does end up raining, I'll keep myself dry. And lastly, the pack here has been treated with Teflon, so you know it's easy to clean out. You just get a little wet cloth. You can wipe out the inside and the outside, and it'll, you know, if it does get wet, the water will just bead right off of it. So, and then lastly, for personal defense, I carried the Springfield XDS, and then we'll keep a few magazines here and there as well. So got that, and so once I'm able to actually fit all this stuff back in this pack, we'll go on our trip and see how this one holds up versus the other ones.
Well, thank you for tuning into this episode of the Bullet Points, where we went over what's in each one of our individual 72-hour packs. We're going to actually go out in the field now and test each one of these things to see how the products and the tools hold up. So click on the link to the next episode where we're actually going to go over practical application of these and you'll get to see these things working in the field. Hopefully help you build a better bailout bag or bug out scenario for, you know, natural disaster, whether it's a fire, earthquake, you know, man-made, whatever it is. Hopefully you'll be able to learn from, you know, kind of the mistakes that we make out in the field and put your own to the test.